Hello everyone, okay, this is an impromptu video that I'm making because I just watched I watched bits and pieces of Rawb's latest stream as of recording this, and I've had thoughts I want to say about like him and all the stuff people over content, all that stuff. I just haven't made it because I'm bad at making things, and I'm still in the phase of talking into a mic is uncomfortable, and I'm very bad at it. So this is an impromptu thing. I have no idea what I'm gonna say, or even what. I don't know how this is gonna go. I'm literally just improv talking into a mic live. The game is, ignore the game. I'm just playing Omari while I'm recording this, just so I have something to do. I'm gonna fight the same enemy over and over again to get to level 50 as I'm recording this. Ignore the game, treat this as a podcast. There's nothing, the game's irrelevant to this whole thing. So, okay. This is very hard for me to do still. Alright. So anyways, so I just watched Rawb's latest stream. If you don't know who Rawb is, why are you watching this video? I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. So, Rawb is someone who I've been following since, I want to say middle school. I'm 28 by the way, but I want to say I've been following Rawb since middle, like 7th or 8th grade, somewhere around there. Way back when my friend found him through his WoW video, which then led to the original Unforgotten Realms, like the really like original one. And then I'm going to find these guys over and over again, by the way, so this is going to be very tedious to watch, so just ignore this. But anyways, so I was following, so I found him out there, and then of course the Escapist with the updated Unforgotten Realms, eventually I think the Witty Wizard site, but yeah, with all the 2-player, I remember Super Minecraft, all that good stuff. I kind of fell off for a bit where I didn't know where Rawb went for a bit. If you haven't seen this game, by the way, just it's a very good game. You should play. But anyways, ignoring that, like I said, it's just an impromptu thing I'm saying. All right, so I've been following Rawb for a long time. You know, I discovered it back when he started making Words of Minecraft, and then of course that went to Realms, and now his current phase of fuck making content, people over content, which I really appreciate. So, what? I'm just getting thoughts out in the void. Is this gonna be edited? I just hit my doorknob. Nope, no it is not. Cause post-production, I don't have time for that. So, anyways. But no, Rawb is going in like an interesting direction, you know, in quotations, as a creator, as a, I guess, internet person, a digital bard, as he would call himself. Because he's reached the point where, like, he doesn't need to make things anymore. He's at the point where it's like, okay, it's all about the community. It's always really been about the community, and now it's time to really double down and be a community leader, be a role model to all the people that watch it, people like me. Even though it's funny enough, I don't really watch Rawb stuff anymore, mainly due to time. It's not so much that I don't want to. If I could catch every single stream, I would, but I can't, so I don't. At best, I follow him more through Twitter. Like, his Twitter stuff is more what I see than his actual streams. It just happened to, like, link a stream on his Twitter, and it's like, okay, I'll click on this. It was the VOD, so I just skipped around, watched a few bits. And he talked about some really interesting stuff that kind of got my brain going. I was like, well, I have all these thoughts. I could keep it to myself, which is what I've been doing for the past, my entire life. Or, you know, I've been making this Let's Play channel and stuff. Let's just make a video playing. You know, I have stuff to farm and grind in this game as I'm doing now, so I have nothing interesting to show in the game. So let's just get my thoughts out on Rawb, or just like stuff like this. I have no idea what I'm doing. This is don't watch this video. Ignore this. So anyways, so Rawb has this just new interesting philosophy, basically people over content, which really, essentially, put people first, be empathetic, level up your empathy stat, do all that good stuff, and, you know, be less of just a greedy, or like, don't be a selfish artist, basically. And it was just, see, it's very easy to get my thoughts in my head, but when it comes to like speaking them, that's hard, because I have lots of stuff I want to say, but I can't like form it right now. And again, I'm not editing this, you're getting all this shit into the recording. Okay. So yeah, I've been following Rawb a long time, and wait, I already went through all that. This is just a mess. Okay, alright. Point is, I really appreciate what Rawb's doing, because I wish I had someone like that growing up. Now, I don't even have the time to watch his stuff at this point, or to like even catch like any of this, because I have real life stuff to do, real shit to do. So but like when I was younger, I definitely would have like, wish I had someone to kind of teach me some of the lessons that he's kind of going through for his fans, or like people that are still following him now. And okay, let me just compose my thoughts in my head first, okay? Because I gotta, which direction I want to go. The point is, Rawb is being a teacher now, basically, which is something that is kind of true. Basically, he talks about how like everyone on Twitch, or just every like relevant internet person who makes YouTube, Twitch, whatever, is essentially role modeled. Just inherently, not even like, it doesn't matter if you want to be or not, you just inherently are. If you have fans, if you have a community of people that look up to you, inherently you're a role model. And so it's the responsibility now to basically act on that, like, appropriately, and put people first, as opposed to just being someone that just pumps out content for the sake of whatever reason, unless you're learning. He specifically talked about that in this stream. If you're learning, it's okay. Like, if you're making content to grow as a person, that's okay. So I'm gonna talk a bit about myself, because this is hard for me. See, the thing is, I'm a very closed off person, and have been my whole life. So just speaking freely like this into the mic, if I even upload this. If you're listening to this, clearly I did. If not, then chicken out. But I'm a very closed off person, so like being someone who just like expresses himself this way is very, very, very hard for me. And so what I've been doing, so on this channel is a host of, so far I've just played through 2 games of Let's Plays. I'm going through this game, I played through Ori before, and like the reason why I did it was not because I expected views or anything. I think I collectively have maybe 20 total views across all my videos. Most of them are sitting right at 0, which is what I expected, because I'm just in the void, putting out like low effort content. In quotations, low effort content. It's a lot of effort for me, just putting out stuff. So it's not, I expected that. But for me, like, why I'm doing this is specifically to get better at speaking, and better at just like more comfortable expressing myself as best as I can with the situation I am in my life. Which is funny, Rawb actually isn't the one that got me to do that. There's another Let's Player, Matterwellens, I believe, yeah, who I kind of occasionally watch here and there, and she, specifically, like, has talked about how, like, she works in, like, the corporate world, and she specifically started a YouTube Let's Play channel to, like, gain confidence to, like, get better at, like, corporate meetings and stuff, which I thought was really kind of interesting, that's why you would, like, start a Let's Play channel, is so you can do better at, like, your corporate meeting. It's just, and I think corporate working woman, I don't think, plays Minecraft when they get home for a Let's Play channel. But if you look at some of her older videos and look at what she makes now, like, beyond just the better audio quality of the mic, you can tell there's a major improvement, just like confidence and like speaking ability. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to achieve over the course of doing this. And so I'm currently in the phase of making content, as it were, to grow myself. Not like views and stuff, not grow an audience, but to just like better myself. So I'm still in like that phase. And so that's fine. But what do I like want to be, and like, what do I want to do? Basically, is I would eventually love to stream on Twitch, and being Let's Players are kind of, they're kind of annoying to make, so you have to remember to start and stop recording, you have to edit them. Oh god, editing sucks, I hate it. even the bare bones editing I do, of putting it in, hitting Control D, moving the beginning and end right when I start speaking to when I stop speaking, and then hitting Control M to export. That's the most amount of editing I do, and already that's too much. So I eventually would love to stream on Twitch, but I'm way too unconfident for that yet, and I don't even think I have the right I don't even think my internet would be good enough to do that with, but that's a whole other issue. Point is, I eventually would love to stream on Twitch. But in following Rawb the past like year or so, he's been going on this people over content thing, which is good, I appreciate it. It got me thinking like, well, what do I want to be on Twitch? Like what would I want to do? Because I don't necessarily just want to play games and like just talk about the games, which is a lot of what Twitch is, which is, you know, fine, but that's not necessarily what I want to do. I specifically, if I got to a point where I would stream on Twitch and I actually had an audience, I would be a role model. Correct, like, that's inherently, that's what Rawb has been telling everyone, like, inherently, that's what you become, whether you want to or not. But I'm also not, like, in the best position to be that yet. And I just mean, like, my confidence in speaking and stuff like that, just, like, where I am in life is not the type of person who should be, like, a role model to people. I really shouldn't, like, it's, I guess I'm a very closed-off person. It's hard to, like, get my thoughts out beyond my own head, like, to actually speak it. So I do monotonous stuff like grinding to kind of give me something to do in the meantime. But I'm trying to formulate my thoughts. There's gonna be lots of pauses in this. This is a very awkward, weird video. I have no idea how long this is gonna be, by the way. If this is like 40 minutes long, Rawb, I'm sorry, because I am gonna send this to you. Maybe on Twitter, maybe on Discord, I don't know. But I specifically wanted to speak it, because that's typing it out. I've typed things out my whole life. Like, I can easily type 1,000 paragraphs expressing all this, and it would be perfect, because I would reread it, but that defeats the purpose of, like, practicing to just express yourself and get it out, which is what I'm trying to do. But it's also hard to do with my living situation, things like that, whatever, we don't need to go into that. But, like, point is, like, I'm starting a Let's Play channel to practice up my voice, to eventually gain confidence, to eventually feel like I can do Twitch, like, years from now. Like, it's not gonna be anytime soon at this point. But to kind of follow in, because Rawb's not the only person I follow just on Twitch, or like people I follow online, but he's definitely the one I respect the most, the one who I support the most, which is funny. I give Rawb more money than anyone else I follow online, like their Patreon. It's literally just $10, which is a lot for me at this point, but like, despite the fact that I consume the least amount of what he makes currently, because I don't have like time to watch Twitch streams, even though I follow people on Twitch. It's weird. I end up watching a lot of VODs, or just like following people who I used to have the time to watch on Twitch, but now I just consume their Twitter content, basically, and like the good advice that they share and things like that. But yeah, so that's an interesting thing, that I'm not an active, I guess, consumer of Rawb's, not content as it would be his community stuff, despite clearly supporting him and been following him for forever. And like, oh, he's just got like my brain thinking about things about like, what do I want to be? What do I want to do on Twitch? Because I don't think I don't have like Rawb's energy. Like, clearly I'm very low key. I'm not very high energy. I don't think I could do like the crazy roleplay stuff that he does at all, and all like the tech he has and things that he, like, the millions of tools that he has to do what he can do. So I don't have that type of stuff. I'm not an outgoing person, really. I want to train to be. I want to be that. That's who I want to be, but currently I am not that, and it's gonna be a slow process to get to that. Very slow process. But so I'm not there yet, but I do still want to be like, basically I want to be a positive influence in people's lives through internet shit, mainly Twitch, because why wouldn't it be Twitch? I can't exactly afford to make my own platform, as it were. So yeah, I'd have to use someone else that's got to use Twitch. It's got to go through the corporate ladder, you know. But, you know, not corporate ladder, but you know what I mean. But I'm also, like, not someone who's out of position to be that yet. Hence starting the YouTube channel, taking very bare bones basic steps of, hey, step 1, get used to talking into a mic and expressing yourself online. That's very baby step 1. Now hold on, my brain just, okay, so that's what I'm trying to do first. But I want to be like a positive role model, but I'm also like not a very positive person, which is, you know, I've learned, you know, as Rawb has been teaching, like, focus on empathy, focus on putting people over, you know, content, community over content, which is good. It's changing my way of thinking, being like, yeah, I probably should just do more of that. So I am trying to slowly change myself, but in general, I am a very, throughout most of my life, I've been a very, I'm usually a pessimistic, negative person, and I know that if that person, like, pessimist, negative me, you know, gets big on Twitch or whatever, like, that's probably not gonna happen, but, you know, if I get some sort of audience, then that person wouldn't be a good role model, clearly, obviously not. But I also don't know how to not be that person in my life situation. And this is where, like, the interesting thing is, like, it's not easy to be the type of person that Rawb has become, like the person that Rawb is presenting to be on his Twitch chat, like this very, like, clearly outgoing, positive person who maybe isn't exactly where he wants to be in life, but has a pretty good life overall compared to a lot of his audience, I would imagine. That's one thing I've noticed just consuming internet content everywhere throughout my whole life, basically. People tend to watch people who are in better positions than them. So, like, if you're a Twitch streamer and you say, well, I have this and this and this, but I don't have this and this, well, know that most of the people watching you are probably, like, under where you are in life. Whether that includes young kids or just, like, people who just don't have, like, financially where you are. And a lot of Twitch people or YouTubers are poor, and all the people that watch them are even poor. So there's just usually, we tend to view, like, entertainers and people who are, like, above where we are, because we look to people who we want to, like, be like, who we want to, you know, eventually get to. That's why, like, people who do have really good lives with, like, you know, really good lives and stuff like that end up watching, like, big celebrities whose lives are even bigger and bigger than theirs. Like, I can think of someone like my sister who, like, works for an oil company. She's 30 years old and has a 2-story house with, you know, a husband, you know, with a kid, my nephew, and, like, she's 30 years old and is, like, financially fine and lives in a nice, rich neighborhood. Like, she's not, like, a millionaire or anything, she's not doing that well off, but she's doing very well for her, you know, any other 30-year-old I can think of right now. Someone like her, she's not watching, like, Twitch streams. Like, her internet presence consists of Facebook to post baby pictures, basically. Like, she doesn't even know what the fuck Twitter is or any of that shit. Like, she's someone like that who's living in a life like that views people, you know, she's watching, like, sports or, like, Netflix or, like, people who are in better positions than her, and that's usually how it is. So when it comes to the internet and internet creators, people like that, audience is usually either kids or people in high school or people in my situation who just financially are just kind of scraping by, basically. Like, we're not, like, in the best position, rather, not just, like, financially I'm talking about, but just, like, mentally or just, like, emotionally. We tend to look people who are inspiration to kind of escape our own lives, and that's kind of what I think Twitch, like, the main thing that I think internet creators, specifically Twitch streamers, provide, and what the community whole aspect provides, is a place to escape to. That is what, like, that's, if I had to say what's the main thing that Rawb contributes currently, and has contributed, honestly, his whole damn career ever since, like, the fucking River Car channel, has been just providing a place to escape for people in worse positions than he is, because that's what people need to do. And I'm sure he has media that he goes to escape to as well. Or maybe he's made it so that his community is his escape. I don't know. I can't speak for Rawb, obviously. But that is what people do. Also, I'm done. Everyone's at level 50. Can you go past level 50? No, you cannot. Oh god, I've already reached the point where I can play this game. Okay, well, whatever. Let me just run around a bit. So yeah, so this is, I think that's, like, what people do. So Twitch streamers kind of have this, like, responsibility almost kind of thrust upon them, whether they want it or not, to be role models and to be better people, because their audience is inherently, not, obviously it's not universally true, but, like, most of their audience is probably in a worse position than they are, and so they have, like, they have a lot of people who are looking to them for, like, just a form of escapism and just, like, advice, or just, like, pure entertainment to just, like, get away from their lives. Like me, Like, when I come home from work and stuff, it's like, if I'm not making, when I barely have the energy to, like, even make stuff on YouTube, which I've been trying to do, but it's hard to have the energy, but, like, it's, I tune into, like, other people online to just kind of escape here, because I don't have the energy to do anything else. I'm watching the Mega 64 podcast, or, like, Rawb streams, or just, like, a bunch of, like, I follow more people than I can keep up with online, which is unhealthy, and I need to drop all of them if I was smart. But I'm not that smart yet, so I'm still following a lot of people. So I have plenty of avenue venues. Not only touching video games, like endless. Like, there's video games alone to keep me entertained of just what I already have bought for who knows how long. There's so much stuff I haven't never got to. That's part of why I want to do the YouTube Let's Play channel as well, because it gives me a good excuse to catch up on old games that I otherwise would have probably never played. Games like this and stuff. But anyways. This is not riveting gameplay. I don't know how to make things riveting. Who cares? Just treat this as a podcast, like I said. But yeah, that's one thing that, like, Twitch streamers have thrust upon them. And Rawb kind of realized, fucking 12 years, 15 years, however long he's been doing this, is okay. That's the real power that I have. That's my real purpose, is people in worse positions in their life than my life currently, Rawb's life, come to me as a form of escapism. So let's double down on the community aspect and engage with this community to help them be better people, because then when they become better people, they can then become people who then be that person for someone else, which is what I want to be, but I'm not there yet. Not even fucking close yet. Not even close. So that is like what Rawb and just like Twitch streamers provide, and I appreciate Rawb as someone who's kind of like doubling down on like that side of it, like fully. Like, he's not concerned with getting a big audience or making the most artistic, impressive thing. Like, he's already proven himself. He made Realms live. Like, even it was never technically finished, the mere act of making it, in my mind, makes him like one of the most creative and talented people on the fucking internet, as far as I'm concerned. So, like, he's already proven himself. He doesn't need to prove himself more. He's already done that. His ego has already been fulfilled. Like, it's done. So now he's out there spending most of his time like talking to people, doing things, and like he's inspiring people to do things. Like me making this video right now, as haphazard, impromptu, and just scatterbrained as it is, I would not have done this if I had not tuned into Rawb's Twitch. Tuned in. I was at work when he was doing it. When I watched the VOD, I skipped around. I watched like an hour of like this 3-hour VOD, and like, I wouldn't have otherwise made that if I hadn't, watched that and got my brain thinking. Even though half the thoughts I thought I was going to say I haven't even gotten to, because I'm bad at speaking, and thinking it in your mind and projecting it out is part of what I'm training myself to do. But that's very, 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 very hard to do, for me at least, and for a lot of people. Like, that is a skill. Like, I think if you can do that easily, that is a skill you really underappreciate, because most people cannot do that at all. Most people can absolutely not do that. But it's a skill that I'm working on. It's going to take months, if not years, to really, really, really get that to a comfortable level. But I wouldn't have otherwise done this if Rawb hadn't even bothered to, like, be inspiring in his own way, without even intending it to. It's not like he meant for this to happen, specifically. But just, like, doing that, like, I just really appreciate it. And, all the, like, the tech he has, like, it still just blows me away. Like, it's funny, he's not creating content, but the tech and stuff he's using is still like so much better than other people I follow. But, like, even when he's not even trying, he's so goddamn good at it. What the hell, Rawb? What the hell? How'd you get that good? It's because you worked hard since 19. I get that, which I have not done, which is why I'm not that good. But another thing he talked about, and I think, okay, giving advice is another thing I want to talk about, because Rawb and a lot of like big people, like Rawb was not the only person who's giving good advice or like being a role model actively to his audience. I don't want to think like Rawb is like the only person who's figured out this meta. He's just the only one I'm following who's like very deliberately doing it directly. But I remember, this would have been years ago at this point, I remember Aaron Hansen, the Game Grumps guy, you know the guy, made a tweet about like how he saw his therapist or something, like he saw his therapy or something, and like encouraged people to go see therapy, and it's like, oh great, that, that's good. This happy-go-lucky, like positive force Aaron Hansen Game Grumps guy is still, like, he's still seeing a therapist. Like, even him still needs to go to a therapist. And then Rawb in the stream today talked about, like, he also goes to therapy as well, or at least he would if COVID wasn't an issue as well. And it's like, this is good advice, really, really good advice. But you also have to factor in one thing that kind of, like, and I wasn't in the chat, obviously, I was watching this live, but that's why I'm getting my thoughts out now, is that, like, you have to remember your audience. Most of your audience, like, if you're someone who's barely making it by as an internet person, which I'm assuming, I don't know which money Rawb makes, I can't imagine it's as much as before or a lot, presumably, but, like, you have to assume your audience is in worse positions than you are. You have to assume people can't afford that. And one thing, because Rawb lives in Canada, and I don't know how the healthcare system works there, but I know it's a hell of a lot cheaper, at least on, you know, of just going to a place than here in America. Because if I wanted to go see a therapist right now, I think it would cost around like $100 or so a session. So I could maybe afford that once a month because I live with my parents. If I lived on my own, I couldn't afford that, period. I literally can't even afford to live on my own, period, so I definitely couldn't afford therapy then. But, like, to go multiple times a month at $100 or roughly $100 a session is beyond what I could afford. Like, I can't. When you live in some places, mainly I'm speaking from an American perspective, stuff like going to therapy, you say that, oh, everyone should do that, but then you don't factor in, well, what if people can't afford that? What if they live in a place where you have to pay out your ass to do anything medical-wise and you can't afford that? What if your audience is like kids or like teenagers who, no matter where they live, couldn't afford that? Like, so what advice, you know, do you give to people like that in that situation? The answer is I don't know. Because, like, I think a lot of people, let's be honest, a lot of people, they're like this guy right here. They're like Omar. They're sad, depressed, lonely. You know, they have friends that are all happy, positive, but then you're this guy. You're a sad little person. You're a little depressed. And most people online, on the internet, especially people that watch things like Twitch streams and YouTube, kind of are like that person. Or generally have, like, shit in their life. They're kind of depressed. Like, those are the types of people that would even come to the internet in the first place. Because if you're really happy, positive, outgoing, you have a good life, you have family, like, again, someone like my sister, you're probably not, like, you don't need the internet. You don't need Twitch streams. You don't need people like Rawb to give you advice, because you've already figured it out. And you've already achieved, like, you're beyond the digital web. Like, you're beyond here. Most people are not like that. Most people are like him. So when you're like him, you have to assume, like, you're usually depressed, and, like, the way to, I think a lot of people use Twitch and, like, stuff like this as a form of escapism, and I'll admit that's what I do. I come home from work from a job that does not pay me a livable wage. I have to live with my parents. It's, you know, very depressing, very sad for me, and so I kind of escape in games like this, or I watch people on stream. I watch Epic Name Bro, I watch Matterwellens, I watch Mega64, I watch Rawb, I watch the PCP, various, I go on and on listing internet creators that most people watching this have no idea what I'm talking about. I can play games, I can, like, can I go see my friends? No, because my best friend lives in Austin, or actually, he doesn't live in Austin, he lives out of state, but is moving to Austin. Either way, both places are pretty far from me. I can't just casually just go over to visit him. Doesn't live near me. Other friends that I have in this area are either really busy, or they're just more like acquaintances, or like they still live like in a place I can't just casually go see him. I'm tired after work. Like, I'm not left with many options to, like, deal with, like, the negative emotions. So what do? Well, I turn on a video game and I play a video game, or I turn on a stream, or a lot of cases I do both at the same time. Or recently, now that I'm making a YouTube Let's Play channel, I'm channeling that into just Let's Play stuff as well. Though my actual Let's Plays are actually focused on the game and not at all this personal. This is my first time doing, like, a personal introspective thing, because I don't normally do that. Yeah. Usually the first time I've ever, I guess my first vlog, or if, you know, whatever you want to call it, if you will. Which is why it's so haphazard, and I'm very nervous, and I don't want to post this, but I gotta force myself to post it. That's the thing. I won't get better if I don't force myself to post this. It's gonna be unlisted. I'm gonna share it to Rawb, but still, it's not. I won't get better if I don't at least start doing that. Expressing myself, because that's one thing that Rawb talked about. Else in this, was it the VOD that I watched, was being able to be your comfortable self around everyone and to just kind of express yourself freely. And that is something that I have like never at any point in my life ever been able to do. Ever. Like I don't have that community or people or even person to feel like I can fully do that with. And so it's pretty, like, it's frustrating. I feel very lonely. I feel very like closed off. Which is why, you know, I didn't do stuff like this for most of my life. I've just kind of put on a mask and, you know, just done what I've been told, basically. That's kind of how you succeed in that situation. You just do what people tell you, and it gets done. But, where are my thoughts going? Okay. Back to therapy. Point is, but a lot of people are depressed online, and, like, when you give advice, you have to factor in that they can't always afford things like therapy or that, so they turn to escapism. And I think what I really appreciate about Rawb is I think he understands that as well, and so he's turning like what people's escapism into like good advice. Like, hey, if you're gonna you know, feel shitty because your life isn't where it needs to be and you need to escape, well, come to my stream, but we'll just like give good life advice on how to be a better person. We'll do some goofy roleplay stuff. We'll have fun. Like it's a positive place here. We're not gonna be negative. We're not gonna talk about. I mean, I guess he kind of touched on real world issues, but like he's not gonna get like hardcore like political into fights or like, you know what I mean? He's not gonna bring like negative shit into his stream. So it's a positive place where he's giving good advice to people that need it, and I seriously appreciate that. And I wish this Rawb existed when I was younger, because boy, could I have used this back then. If you're in high school now and a fan of Rawb, take advantage of his advice now. Don't wait till you're like me. Take advantage of it now. But yeah, no, Rawb I think he's doing just really, really good work. And I'm sure a part of him probably like still gets depressed and doesn't think that. Like, this is something I've noticed a lot of Twitch streamers do. Like, every now and then I'll see like only Afro or some other people that I follow on Twitter kind of express like, I'm just some dumb fucking guy playing video games and I'm not doing anything important, so thank you for all the support. I'm not doing, like, they're very down on themselves. And that's the other thing. I think a lot of people that make content are also kind of depressed, are also kind of like this guy. They're just pretending to be like these people, but they're more like him deep down. They're just better at putting on an air like this. Because a lot of Twitch streamers, I'm saying Twitch streamers, but assume I'm talking about just anyone making anything on the internet, not just Twitch. A lot of people making stuff online, I think, are down themselves and kind of use it as a way to brighten themselves up, but like they don't value themselves as well. Which Rawb was talked about how like he undervalued himself like his whole life. Now he's starting to value himself and like take care of himself. But a lot of people on Twitch like undervalue what they do. If you're someone that like provides a place of belonging or a community, even if it's just like escapism or a place to hang out, or like you provide as, you know, content as it were, if you provide a place to like for people to engage with and to like run off to, basically, you are providing a really good service. It's obviously, this is no therapy. It is not like, you are not providing therapy. You aren't like curing depression or anything, but you're providing like just a place for people to like cope, basically, with like their lives, basically. Because most people online, that's what they're on the internet for, basically. Like, let's be real. It's to kind of find escapism and to cope with like the shit in their lives that they don't want to deal with. So they go online and find these collective groups. A lot of people can take advantage of that, and there's definitely a lot of people online that take advantage of that, and they do need to be called out on it. But a lot of people don't, and a lot of people kind of, maybe they're not as openly aware as Rawb has been that they are being role models, but a lot of people do like still project that idea and know that that's like their real purpose, like that's the real reason, the real thing of value that they bring to the table. And that's just like, I don't know, it's something that I really appreciate. That I really appreciate like internet creators, and I follow so much of them. And I kind of want to be that person myself. That's like the whole reason I started a YouTube Let's Play channel, was to put on my little training wheels and be like, step 1, learn to speak. That's step 1, because I'm in my head all the time, and I can like type thoughts out very well, though I'm not like a writer or anything. I can't do that stuff. But it's like I gotta put on my training wheels and learn how to speak, because I want to be that person for other people someday. But I also can't be that person for other people until I fix myself, because I'm him right now. This is me at work and coming home every day, just that. And I want to be, I want to be like this guy. Yeah, look at him. Look how, I want to be this guy. That's who I want to be. A happy-go-lucky, positive person. I've got color in my life, I'm literally a named hero. Like, I'm literally the positive role model. That's who I want to be. And that's kind of the life I want to live, by making internet content. Because I do eventually would love to stream on Twitch. Eventually. Like, I don't really want to do Let's Plays. As I mentioned earlier, like, they're a fun training wheel ground thing, but they are kind of a hassle to do. And I see why so many people switch to Twitch over YouTube. That's a whole other discussion. But I know I'm not that person who can be that yet. And I don't know when I can be that person, or if I'll even reach there, but that's what my goal is, to eventually be that person, to provide like a positive place, I guess a positive community, like to find people who were like me now, when I'm in a better position, to them, elevate them to that better position, all under the guise of course, it is Twitch, it'd be playing games. Like, I think people like undervalue the value of just like, sure, someone who's just playing games on Twitch and like talking to chat and community, doing all the memes and all the stuff like that. Like, I get that it's easy to look down on that, or to like be like, oh, well, that's the person, that's a lazy person, that's the person's not doing anything important, that's not our real job, as people would say down here where I live. But like, I don't know, if you're providing like a positive place for people to be, that's real. Like, no, that may not be like a job sense, but like, that is providing real positivity into the world, into people's lives, and you should value yourselves more if you are the type of person who's doing that. Absolutely. And like, if anything, things like playing games and stuff like that are just like a bonus and stuff. I don't think I would be good at roleplaying though. Rawb always talks about like the power of roleplay. I gotta be honest, I don't think I would. I've never been good at roleplaying or coming up with names, or just like playing different characters, as it were. Like, this is just my basic monotone ass voice. I don't know how to like project that. Maybe I'll learn, but currently I don't think that's in my future to do that type of stuff. Truly, like, who I want to be. Now, if you're listening to this right now, you're a fan of Rawb, or you are Rawb, look up Frank Howley. He's this guy. He does. I found out him through Mexico4. He's done some collaborative stuff with them, but he currently streams on Twitch called The Big Dogs Gaming. He's like, again, I don't have the time to watch his Twitch streams either, so I don't know what he's currently doing, like how it's going. But he is even more than Rawb, if you can believe it. Even more than Rawb. He is by far the most positive person I know of online. Period. Frank Howley is like a positive force of energy, of like pure, just like unrestrained positivity. Just it's kind of insane. You should absolutely, if you just want like a Twitch streamer / sometimes a YouTuber who like just exudes the most positive energy into the world, Frank is the person to follow. And he did this series back before COVID hit, so this is like, these videos are like a year or two old at this point. He hasn't done this in forever, called Dog Walks, where it was him and his roommate Brian would just walk in a park for like 30 minutes with like a camera and a mic, and they would just switch and film each other, just basically giving life advice. And it was called Dog Walks, and they would talk about the importance of just like exercising, eating healthy, getting energy, going outside, like thinking positively. They would talk about media that they've seen and stuff, like positive stuff. It was always positive stuff. They didn't talk about anything negative. They don't shit on anything. Frank has talked about how like he's done with like being negative, or like putting negativity in the world. He's all about like positive shit. I want to be that creator, and Rawb is very much following in that same footsteps. The Rawb is doing it more from like a teacher angle, whereas Frank is just like, he is just playing games online and stuff. Like, he's not trying to be a teacher or anything. Though ironically, Frank is a teacher. He teaches at film school. And sometimes, I know he does. I don't know if he still does that. It has been a long time, but ironically, Frank has actually done actual like professional teaching stuff. But like, that's who I want to be. Now the problem is how do I get there? That's like the real crutch. It's like, oh, okay, I have a goal, and I'm taking my baby steps to, start a YouTube channel, to like, make content to grow, because it's okay to make content if you're learning how to grow, as Rawb said, and I'm still in that phase. But how do I like become higher tier, like, you know, the triple S tier rank, you know, legendary, like, positive person like that, like Rawb and Frank. Well, the truth is, I don't know. I don't actually have the answer to that. If I did, I would just do it. But the thing is, like, it's hard to, like, be genuinely positive as opposed to just projecting positivity when you feel like this, you know, this kid right here, when you're this guy right here, when you're very, like, you're not happy with your position in life, you don't see any way, hope for your position in life to get any better. It's just very easy to, like, constantly be depressed and down, which is kind of the state I've lived most of my life in. Like my job isn't that bad as far as the work you have to do. It's actually rather easy work overall. It's definitely much better than people that work in retail and stuff. But, like, it doesn't exactly, like, I'm not getting paid a living wage, of course. I live with my parents. Thankfully, I have parents who are nice enough to allow me to do that. Otherwise, I would literally be living in my car. Because I don't make enough money to afford rent in the area that I live, along with other life expenses with the job I have. Like, I would be losing money every month, and I couldn't afford that. So it's like, financially, I'm not well off. I'm not, like, I don't have any, like, super close connections where I live. I've kind of acquaintances, some people that I can kind of show certain parts of myself to. But, like, the only person who I would say is my genuine good friend, as I mentioned before, lives far away. Thankfully, he'll be closer when he moves to Austin, but, like, that's still like maybe a once a month visit, you know? So I don't have, like, much social interaction. The people I work with are all older, like, I'm surrounded by, I live in, like, boomer territory, okay? I live in Texas, I live in conservative, Christian, Trump-supporting boomer territory. So I don't have a lot of people that I can relate to in my area. And I definitely can't be myself out with my family. Which, well, one thing... So if you clicked on this video and you go to my, like, if you look at my icon, which the art was done by Lethal Aurora Mage, so shout out to her, follow her on Twitter, Lethal Aurora Mage. She did that for me, I commissioned that. Clearly that does not look like me, nor does that sound like me. I am a biologically male, I sound like a guy, but I definitely have, like, still figuring out, like, gender issues. I still very much prefer to be feminine. I think I might be gender fluid, I'm not sure exactly. I don't think I'm trans, because I don't have dysphoria in the way that all my trans friends have. But I definitely, like, have, like, some gender confusion stuff going on that I'm still figuring out. Well, I can't, like, where I live, that shit has to be locked up and shut down. Like, especially living with parents, like, that side of me can't come out. So it's like, that adds, like, issues and things that I can't, like I can't fully be myself here. Because Rawb talks about how, like, you have to be able to project and be yourself here. That's what you should strive to be, to find the community that you can be that around with. But when you live with people who, thankfully, you know, I do appreciate my parents. I'm not here to shit talk my parents or anything. I love them. But, like, they are, you know, old boomer conservatives. I can't exactly be who I want to be here, but I also cannot afford to move out in the foreseeable future because I work for, like, a small company, so there's no chance of getting a raise. They can't afford it. The money I'm making there is the most money I'm gonna make there, and I have no, like, skills to, like, pursue a higher paying job, basically. And I've tried learning something, like, nothing has stuck in the process of learning things. So now I'm doing this YouTube thing. Will I make money doing internet stuff? That would be ideal. Like, that's the thing, like, you can't factor money out of the equation when it comes to any of this stuff. Like, there is a point where, like, you do have to factor in you making money isn't, like, a bad thing, or pursuing that up to a point. Now, again, if you're a content over people person and you're pursuing it like a corporation mindset, that's bad. But, like, there is nothing wrong with, like, learning a skill or in the hopes that, like, you will make money for it eventually. Like, I mentioned Matterwellens earlier. She, I think, makes, according to her Patreon, like, about $1,000 or so a month. It's just open and public on Patreon, so it's listed as. And it's like, if I had an audience big enough to just make $1,000 a month doing positive community Twitch YouTube stuff like that could essentially just pay for rent. Then I would still have my real job, my main job, which then can pay for other life expenses, and I can actually maybe move out. That's kind of like that is a very tame and minor dream. Most people have bigger aspirations of that. But hey, if I can make enough money to pay for rent, and still like have money left over and other life expenses and have money left over. I've never experienced that before ever, so I would really appreciate that. But obviously I'm not there yet. I don't think I have the skill set to even deserve that. Like I'm a little baby beginner starter person. I don't even have a way you can give me money, and I won't anytime soon. Like that's not even an option on the table. But like that's kind of where I want to be, and where I think once I can get there, I can truly start to be a better person. But then the thing is that like, well, I shouldn't have to wait till I get there, because in order to get there, I need to be a better, more positive person. So it's like a feedback loop where I have to like project positivity, even though I don't necessarily feel that most of the time, because it's hard to do. Like it's easy to look at my life, and while it's much better than many others, I do acknowledge that I do not live a shitty life, but I'm definitely not living a life where like I feel comfortable where I am or where I can be, because I'm not at all, not even close. And so it's like, what are the steps you have to take to like force yourself to be that positive role model, to just think that positive way, in the way that Rawb has been trying to teach, when you're in a position that you can't, where there's so much stacked against you to why you can't do that. And there's people in much worse situations than me, and if you are and you're somehow positive, you are a godsend. Tell me what your strategy is. How do you do that? Because I don't understand. I don't understand. It's very, very hard to do. But yeah, no, I live in an area that kind of lacks empathy. Rawb talks about leveling up your empathy stat, which I've been trying to do. You know, be more empathetic, trying to like be less of a little shit, because I've been that little shit. I've been the little shithole online who just fucks with people or gets into arguments online, who just surrounds myself with negativity. That is one change that I will recommend to anyone watching this, which I can say. If you get into like arguments online, whether it be Facebook or Reddit or Twitter, just shut that shit down immediately. Stop that. End it. Just stop. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Be wrong. They can like. It doesn't matter. You don't need to prove to be right to random people online. That is only going to inject negativity in your life. Stop it. Don't do that. So that, at least I can say that's one positive thing that will make your life better for sure. But anyways, I live like in an area where I just can't easily be myself. Like I live in America, and America is not a country exactly known for its empathy. Rawb over here living in Canada, which I know has its like shithole areas too, but like he generally lives in a place that at least is publicly perceived as more empathetic and friendly. I don't. I mean, I live in Texas, one of the big meme states of being a little shit. Like it's not exactly all the stereotypes you think of like old conservative people, like Trump supporting people. Like I'm surrounded by those people at work and at home, like and just in my community. So it's like I have nowhere to go. Like why would, like, I think of like, where would I go if I left my house to like be just to hang out, and there's like no place? Like, what would I go to a bar? I don't drink. Those aren't the people that I could see myself being around with, especially in this area. Like I don't. So I hide myself online. That's what I do. And you would think, this is the other thing I want to talk about. I remember now. You would think I'd be very active in communities online, but I'm not. Not at all. And the reason why I'm not is because I'm still like shy to that level, and I'm afraid of like committing to like being a part of the community when I know I will have to disappear for a while. Because like my job has weird hours. If it's not normally, when it's 9 to 5, it's pretty easy. I'm used to that at this point. But sometimes, we have to go be at a school at 7 o'clock in the morning, which means you need to be at the office at 6 o'clock or something. Time to get up at 4:30 and work till 5. Hooray! Like and that can just like change week by week. So there's times where I'll work Saturdays often. Sometimes I have to work Sundays, even like a full 7 days a week. The point is that like work drains you. It drains you. So when I get home from like work schedules like that, I'm not like, I don't have the energy move to like log onto Discord and like go hang out with like the people on Discord. So I've always just opted to just not even try, which is a problem. But I don't really know how to join like Discord communities or things like that, much less cultivate my own community if I ever got one. That's a hell of a long way from there. And so it puts me in just a very lonely position, because like I don't really engage online in communities, but I also don't have like, aside from a few people I talk online, like personal friends, like I don't really have people here to engage with as well. And I know I need to change that, but I don't really know. I don't know, it's intimidating to just like join communities and like stuff like that, because it's like I don't, can I even be myself here? I don't even know. I'm not even sure. Part of the other thing is I don't know who myself is. Again, can't afford a therapist here. Can't afford to like get a professional to help me rediscover myself or discover myself. Just shit out of luck there, you know. So I want to be more active in communities, but like I also don't want to disappoint people. One thing in Rawb's community specifically is like he does, you know, homework as it were. But like he basically like has a community project and people will work together to do community projects. Well, as much as I would love to be a part of that, I also know that like I don't want to commit and say, oh, I can do this, and then come home from work feeling like crap and being like I don't want to force myself to do, like I can't force myself to like do something I've committed to in a community like that if I'm not feeling up to it. But then that's just gonna like end up disappointing others. Because I said, hey, I could do this thing, and then I can't end up doing it. And it's like that mental energy, like I can't, it's just much easier in my head to be like, just don't bother with it. Like I used to do pixel art for a while there, like I wanted to like some pixel art stuff with Rawb, but that dropped. I used to like try to learn Blender. I've dropped that because I just don't have the mental energy for it. At least I have the mental energy to play games and talk into a mic. That's, you know, I'm starting small, but you gotta start somewhere, you know? Cause like, yeah, like like, hey, if you're someone that doesn't, like, if you're still in high school, and I know high school can be draining too, but like, if you're working a job that like is underpaying you, which most people online are in jobs like that, and you come home from work, sometimes like it's okay to not have the mental energy to like do other things. Like you don't need to force yourself to be creative or to be productive, which is what I'm trying to do to myself, because I know that I want to be in a better place in life, but it's not always like, you should never feel guilty about that. But because of that, like it's kind of it's like this big mental wall in my head. Excuse me, gotta take a drink of water for a sec. Which, by the way, how do Twitch streamers talk for hours without drinking a sip of water? What the hell kind of skill is that? I drink water like every 10 minutes. Like, how do you do that? But anyways, the point is that like this big mental wall in my head that like keeps me from like joining communities like this. Because it's like, Discords are kind of intimidating, because it's just so many, it's like just a wall of, it's just an endless feed in so many different channels of endless feeds, and it's like, oh god, how do I even parse this? Like, I don't know who any of these people are. Oh, there's Rawb, I know that one person. But how do I like interject myself into that? I don't know. I honestly don't know. And you might be saying, well, which one? That's real easy. That's like basic baby bitch social level skills. But I don't have those skills. Despite growing up online, I don't have those skills. I haven't really learned how to do that. I haven't really like got Discord down despite how long it's been around. I've been kind of an isolated person who's been mostly a content over people person, mostly consuming content, kept to myself, consuming content, kept to myself, aside from a few friends, you know, putting on a mask when I went to college, or when I go to work, because that's what you gotta do to survive. Like, I don't know, it's just a splattering of thoughts that I'm throwing out here right now. I don't, like I said, this is just thoughts that Rawb inspired me to just kind of make a video of just saying shit. How long is the video, by the way? What is my... 54 minutes. I thought I was recording for like 20 minutes, and I look over at my little OBS recording, and it says 54 minutes. And I could keep going for hours at this point, but just saying the same shit over and over again. I don't really have like a point to conclude this video on, because I didn't really have a point to making it, other than I just needed to make something, because Rawb inspired me today to make something. Okay, if you somehow made it to this point of this video, if you are even watching this video at this point, almost an hour in, what the hell? What is happening in your life that you have the time to do that? Oh boy, okay, I gotta end this somehow. The point is, go subscribe to Rawb on Twitch. What's the best way to give you money, Rawb? What's the best? Is it Patreon? Is it a Twitch sub? I use Patreon because I don't have to think about it, and because I don't really know how the Twitch subs work. Whatever. Go to rawb.tv/Patreon. I don't know what your Patreon is. Google Patreon rawb.tv. You'll find it, I'm sure. Support him, join his Discord, and be a better person than me, and actually engage. And don't watch my videos, because they're not good. Don't give me views out of, like, don't do that. I just make shitty Let's Plays, and they're gonna be shit for a while, and that's just how it is. I'm just practicing my voice and uploading it into the void, and where I want it to stay in the void for a long time. I'm glad no one's watching these, because if people were watching these, that would be a hell of a lot more pressure, and I'd be a hell of a lot more embarrassed. Shit, I gotta end, you know what? I gotta end this video. What's a funny way? Shit, I don't know a funny way to end this video. You know what? Look at us. See, everyone just needs this. They just, you know, if you're one of the happy people in the back, find a depressed person in the front, just like this kid. Go find them and befriend them immediately, because they need it. People like that, they need it, especially online. Be friends with each other. Value people over content. Be like the people in the back and find the people in the front, and, you know, elevate them to your position. That's what you gotta do. That's my profound improv thoughts to end this on. Oh boy. Hey, this is my first time making a video like this, and the fact that I even did it for this long is pretty impressive. It did not play out like it played out in my head, as it never will. But I guess, you know, I guess I gotta end this at some point. What am I at? Almost an hour in? Okay, Rawb, if you're watching this, if you somehow made it an hour in, if you're sitting there listening to an hour of this shit, thank you. What the hell? Why? Go stop watching this. Go hang out with Megan. She's lonely right now. Go on a walk with her again. Out into the fucking freezing snow of Canada. I hate the cold. How the hell do you live there? But go do that. But no, seriously, I'm gonna keep making more just normal basic Let's Plays. I have over 20 parts of this to record that have already been, like, edited, that I haven't even uploaded to YouTube. God, I have so much. I'm so behind on what's actually on here. And keep practicing my voice. When I actually feel like I'm at a confident level, maybe I'll switch to Twitch. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I will try to be more active in Rawb's Discord. Maybe. Hopefully, if I have the energy for it. If I can. I feel like he actually gave me advice to go into the Discord and find people to play Monster Hunter with. When that game comes out, I might do that. Monster Hunter Rise. Because that's definitely a game I want to experience more multiplayer aspects of. Because I played World mostly single player, and it's a game that really lends itself to multiplayer stuff. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe that's how I'll join the community through the power of video games, as video games have all the power. But yeah, no, put people over content. Practice your empathy. Be a better person. Don't feel too guilty if you're not there yet, like I am. Don't suffer. Don't get out of this, like, guilty, woe was me mindset. I know it's hard to do because that's the mindset that I'm in constantly, but you just gotta remind yourself to get out of that mindset. And don't worry about this channel. I'm just a person speaking into the void. I don't need help or anything. Don't freak the fuck out. But yeah, and hey, make shit. Make cool shit. If Rawb was inspired, you can make cool shit, post it. Obviously, like, the people over content doesn't mean don't make content. If you're like, this doesn't mean, oh, should I not make art? Oh, should I quit drawing? Oh, Rawb, oh, no, that's not what Rawb means. At all. At least I don't think that's what he means, for sure. No, make cool shit, practice your skills, focus on, like, what is passionate to you, slowly try to get that mask off in as much places as you can to be yourself, as I am slowly, oh so slowly, trying to do. Long ways to go. Even with this video, like, there's still a mask on. It's just fucking hard. But anyways, yeah, go support Rawb. Go check out Frank, who I mentioned. If you want another positive person, Frank Halley. I think you just type that to YouTube or Google, you'll find him. And just keep being cool. Bye bye, everyone.